What if everything you believe about life, love, morality, purpose, was nothing but an illusion? From the day we are born to the day we die, we live in the in-between, the narrow strip of time we call life. We fill it with work, relationships, achievements, dreams, and endless distractions. But outside of that, before birth and after death, there's nothing but silence. And in that silence lurks a terrifying possibility. Maybe none of this matters. Did you ever wonder if maybe all of existence is meaningless? Religions tried to give us certainty by promising eternity. Philosophers tried to give us order with rational explanations. Scientists gave us progress to marvel at. But nihilism stands apart, whispering that all of it, the prayers, the systems, the discoveries, is only decoration on a stage that is, at its core, empty. This is the unsettling heartbeat of nihilism, the belief in nothing. And that's what we'll look at today. But first, like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Let's jump in.
At some point in our lives, we all encounter the same devastating question. Why? Why do we believe the things we believe? Why do we hold on to traditions, moral codes, or values as if they are unshakable? Push far enough, keep peeling away the layers of because this person said so, or because this book says so, and eventually you arrive at silence, at nothing. Nihilism begins here, in this collapse of certainty. Alan Watts once reduced life to a trip from the maternity ward to the crematorium. The journey is filled with rituals and rules, but in the end, it all funnels to the same place: nothingness. Nihilism confronts us with this raw void, forcing us to admit that the foundations of meaning we stand on may be little more than shifting sand. Nihilism is often mistaken for other philosophies, but its distinction is crucial. Pessimists see the world as tragic, convinced evil will eventually overwhelm good, but they at least acknowledge that good exists. Cynics argue that human beings are selfish at their core, incapable of acting with pure motives, but cynicism still admits that concepts like good and evil are real, even if people rarely embody them. The apathetic might believe life has meaning, but simply don't care to pursue it. Nihilists, however, deny the entire framework. They argue that good and evil are human inventions, arbitrary labels slapped on behaviors and events. To them, morality is nothing but a costume society forces us to wear. That's why nihilists reject the classic metaphor of the glass being half full or half empty. They argue the glass itself is irrelevant. Full, empty, shattered. It makes no difference, because in the end, the person holding the glass will die, so the entire metaphor becomes meaningless. What makes nihilism slippery is that it's not just one idea, but many branches. Political nihilists argue that all institutions, governments, religions, hierarchies, should be burned to the ground so humanity can start fresh. Ethical nihilists go deeper, denying the very existence of absolute moral values. For them, good and bad are not universal truths but cultural inventions, shifting with time and geography. The most unsettling and influential form, however, is existential nihilism, the belief that life itself has no meaning. This is the form most of us brush up against in our darkest moments, when even our greatest achievements feel like dust against eternity. To the existential nihilist, progress, morality, even love are comforting illusions disguising the truth that, ultimately, nothing matters. The true terror of nihilism doesn't come from philosophy. It comes from emotion. Imagine realizing that everything humanity has built, from the wonders of technology to the victories of justice, might be nothing more than a flicker that vanishes into a void without consequence. Imagine every act of kindness, every moment of joy, every sacrifice, reduced to background noise in a universe that does not care. This is the existential horror at the core of nihilism. Once you understand it fully, once you stare into that abyss, you realize that the abyss doesn't stare back. There is no grand narrative waiting to redeem your suffering, no cosmic ledger keeping score. There is only silence. And in that silence, the crushing suspicion that all of life's meaning is an illusion, we tell ourselves to endure the unbearable. No one wrestled with nihilism more fiercely than Friedrich Nietzsche. He both embraced and feared it. When he declared God is dead, he wasn't mocking faith. He was recognizing that humanity had lost its ability to rely on divine authority. For him, this was both liberation and danger. Liberation, because without God we could chart our own course. Danger, because without shared values, nothing prevents humanity from descending into barbarism. Nietzsche feared a world where slavery, tyranny, and genocide could no longer be called evil because no universal morality remained. And yet he also saw nihilism as a necessary clearing, a destructive force that could wipe away rotten foundations and make space for new meaning. His paradox is this: nihilism could destroy us, or it could save us. But either way, we cannot avoid it. Look around the world today, and you can feel Nietzsche's prophecy coming true. Religion no longer commands the moral authority it once did. Long-standing traditions collapse. Social media shatters consensus into a million fragments, each defended by passionate followers. Every idea, no matter how absurd or vile, finds its defenders. And suddenly, no one can tell anyone else that they are wrong, because why has no answer. This is the danger of nihilism in the digital age. Not that it destroys faith in old institutions, but that it creates a world where all beliefs are equally weightless. The result is chaos, a civilization fraying at the edges as everyone clings to their own private truths. And we all suffer. So if life is truly meaningless, how do we respond? Shakespeare called life a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. That bleak vision might paralyze some, but others see freedom in it. If the glass doesn't matter, then drink from the faucet. If meaning doesn't exist, then we are free to create our own. Nietzsche believed nihilism doesn't have to lead to despair. It can liberate us from false structures and allow us to live authentically, not because some divine plan demands it, but because life itself is enough. We may never know why we are here, but at least we are here. And that fact alone, fleeting, fragile, and temporary, may be reason enough to live. Do you agree? Let us know what you think in the comments, and thanks for listening.